I moved into the house in late October. It was one of those odd listings that seemed too good to be true: spacious, quiet neighborhood, rent almost suspiciously affordable. The landlord was an older man named Mr. Avery, who handed me the keys without much fanfare. "The phone's still hooked up," he said, waving toward the corner of the living room. "No need to mess with it. Just unplug if it bothers you." I didn't think much of it until I noticed the answering machine. It was a clunky black box, the kind I hadn't seen since the 90s, tucked under the beige landline phone on the side table. Thick with dust, a faint red light blinked 0 messages. At the time, I thought it was a weird leftover like the old floral couch or the faded wallpaper. Nothing worth worrying about. But then the light started blinking. It happened a week later. I came home from work, tossed my bag onto the couch, and noticed the machine flashing one new message. I hadn't given the number to anyone. Curious, I pressed play. "Hey. You won't believe this, but don't leave your keys on the kitchen counter tomorrow. You'll lose them. Just trust me. And maybe check the basement door before you go to sleep tonight. It's unlocked again." The voice was mine. My exact voice. Same rhythm. Same tone. Same small catch in the throat when I get nervous. The message ended with a low click. I stood there staring at the machine for a long time. That night, out of sheer paranoia, I checked the basement door. It was unlocked. And the next morning, I caught myself about to drop my keys on the counter. I stopped, hesitated, and shoved them in my backpack instead. That day, I came home to another blinking light. One new message. I played it. "You did good today. You remembered the keys. You're starting to listen. Keep going." Same voice. My voice. Only this time, there was something softer in it. Almost a note of relief. I searched the machine for any signs of tricks, pre-recorded samples, hidden software, anything. But it was analog. No digital memory, no Bluetooth, no internet access. Old school tape reel. And when I opened the back, no tape. Just the faint hum of something still running. I should have unplugged it. I didn't. Weeks passed. Every Sunday night, there'd be a new message. Always short. Always my voice. "Skip your morning jog Monday. Your ankle's already weak. Don't pick up the 206 call. It's a scam. Check under your bathroom sink." Yes, now. That last one, I found a tiny leak. Barely visible. Black mold already forming behind the cabinet. It felt like someone was watching out for me. Even if that someone sounded exactly like me. Then the messages changed. Became darker. Less helpful. More urgent. "Stop ignoring the creaking sounds upstairs. No one lives above you. Check your front window around 3:12 a.m. You'll understand. She's not your friend. Don't let her in." That last one came the same night my coworker Amanda texted to stop by and drop off a spare monitor I'd left at the office. When she rang the bell, I just stood there watching her through the peephole. I didn't answer. She left the monitor on the porch and texted, "You okay?" I didn't reply. I started recording the messages on my phone. Tried showing them to friends. But whenever I played the clips for someone else, it just sounded like garbled static. Or worse, completely silent. Yet every time I played them alone, they were crystal clear. And they were becoming more detailed. More intimate. "You had the dream again last night. The one with the hallway and the dripping sound. That's not just a dream. It's a memory. Do not open the shoebox in the closet yet. You're not ready. I didn't remember any shoebox. But I checked the closet. There was a box. Plain cardboard. Unmarked. I didn't open it. Not yet. Last Sunday's message was different. Longer. The tone in my voice, it was shaking. You're not going to like this one. But you need to hear it. You're not alone tonight. Don't go to the kitchen. Just don't. Not even for water. If you hear anything, stay in bed. Whatever you do, don't look at it. It's still learning your face. I froze. That night, I didn't move. Didn't drink water. Didn't sleep. And sometime around 2 a.m. I heard it. Footsteps. Creaking floorboards. Slow. Uneven. In the kitchen. Then the fridge door opened. And shut. A drawer slid out. Then silence. I waited until sunrise before getting up. Nothing was out of place. Except there was a glass of water on the counter. Still cold. This week, the machine blinked 2 new messages. I played the first one. It was short. They know you've been listening. They're almost here. The second message began with static. Then breathing. And then, my voice barely above a whisper, you need to unplug the machine. You should have done it weeks ago. But now it's too late. They're using it now. And in the background of the recording. Very faint, but unmistakable. Footsteps. Walking. Getting louder. Closer. Until they sounded like they were in the room with me. I pressed stop. The machine didn't stop. The voice kept playing. You're not listening anymore, are you? You think you can turn this off? Look behind you. I dropped my phone. Whipped around. No one there. But the red light on the answering machine. It was blinking faster. Erratic. The machine spoke one last time. It remembers what you forgot. Open the shoebox. I didn't want to. But I did. Inside, photos. Dozens of them. All of me sleeping. From different angles. Different rooms. Some in this house. Some in places I've never seen before. All time-stamped. All dated years before I moved in. At the very bottom of the box, a folded note, the messages don't come from the future. They come from the version of you who stayed. You're already forgetting which one you are. The machine hasn't blinked since, the voice hasn't returned. But every time I pick up the receiver, I hear breathing on the other end. And I think, some part of me is still on the line. Just waiting for me to forget again. I moved into apartment B24 last spring. The building is old, built sometime in the 60s, from what I gathered. Red brick exterior, creaky stairwells, elevators that occasionally stall between floors. But it's rent-controlled, close to the subway, and quiet. Mostly retirees, a few students, no families. That's what drew me to it. I wanted quiet. And at first, it was. Until I started hearing the noises. From B14. It began subtly, nothing you'd notice unless you were paying attention. Faint footsteps. Low murmurs. The unmistakable sound of a TV, usually around 11 p.m., always turned to some old sitcom with canned laughter echoing faintly through the floorboards. I didn't think much of it at first. Thought maybe the unit below me had just gotten a new tenant. Until I met Linda, the building manager. I mentioned the late-night noise while handing over some paperwork. She paused, furrowed her brow. "There's no tenant in B14, she said. "That unit's been empty for nearly 2 years. Structural issues. We haven't leased it out." I must be looked confused. She added, "Maybe the noise is coming from B12 or B15. Sound travels weird in old buildings like this." I wanted to believe her. But the sounds were directly beneath me. One night, I stayed up late. No music, no TV. Just me and a cup of tea, sitting at the kitchen table in silence. At 11:03 p.m. the sound began. Footsteps. 2 at first. Then a shuffle. Then the soft creak of something heavy, maybe a chair. I walked to the corner of the room, pressed my ear to the floor. Beneath me, I heard a voice. Muffled, but familiar. A male voice. Calm. Rhythmic. My voice. I knocked on B14's door the next morning. Just to be sure. No answer. I waited, ear pressed to the cool metal of the door. Nothing. The hallway was dim, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. B14's door was old, the paint chipped, the number barely visible. When I returned to my own apartment and sat down, I noticed something odd. My dining chair, the one closest to the balcony door, was slightly out of place. Angled, wrong. I hadn't touched it since the night before. Over the next week, the noises continued. Every night at exactly 11:03 p.m. the same routine: footsteps, then the voice, then laughter from a sitcom I didn't recognize. One night I tried recording the sound. I placed my phone on the floor, left it overnight. In the morning, I played it back. At first just static. Then, he's starting to listen. My voice again. Whispered. Cold. "We need to move faster." And then, my laugh. But warped, stretched, as if played in reverse. I didn't laugh that night. I went back to Linda. Told her about the voice, the TV, the sounds. She seemed skeptical but agreed to unlock B14 to prove it was empty. "I'll come with you tomorrow morning," she said. "You'll see. Nothing but dust and cobwebs." But the next day, she was sick. Flu, apparently. Out for the rest of the week. So I checked the door myself. And for the first time, it was unlocked. The door creaked open with a slow groan. B14 was dark. No electricity. But I could see enough. Furniture, just like mine. Same layout. Same couch. Same lamp with the tiny crack on the base. Even the framed photo on the end table, me and my sister on our trip to Colorado. That photo was in my bedroom. I stepped inside, slowly. It smelled familiar. My cologne. My shampoo. The faint scent of citrus cleaner. I walked to the kitchen. Same dishes. Same brand of tea on the counter. Even the dented kettle I'd been meaning to replace. And then I saw it. A figure, seated at the kitchen table. Back to me. Still. Motionless. Wearing my clothes. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. The figure turned its head slightly, just enough to reveal a sliver of a jawline identical to mine. Same stubble. Same scar on the chin from when I fell off my bike as a kid. But its eyes never met mine. It looked through the reflection on the microwave, as if watching me without turning around. I stepped back. Quiet. One foot creaked on the hardwood. The figure whispered, in my exact voice, "Don't make me come upstairs." I ran. Back in my apartment, I locked the door. Deadbolt. Chain. Everything. I didn't sleep. I didn't move. But at 11:03 p.m. the sounds came again. Footsteps. TV laughter. And then, something new. The sound of stairs. Coming up. One floor. Closer. I don't leave my apartment much now. Every night, I push furniture in front of the door. Block every vent. Tape over the peephole. Linda hasn't returned my calls. I think she's still sick. Or maybe she was never real. I tried asking neighbors about B14. They look confused. Some say the building skips 14 like some hotels do. But I've seen the door. I've been inside. And last night, I woke up to find something slipped under my door. A note. Typed. Plain white paper. B14 has been vacated. Occupant relocated to B24. I think I've been moved. Or copied. Or replaced. Tonight, I checked my living room. That chair by the balcony, it's facing the wrong way again. Toward me. And at 11:03 p.m. the TV flickered on by itself. To a sitcom I've never seen. With a laugh track that sounds exactly like mine. I first noticed it on a Tuesday night. I stayed up late, answering emails and procrastinating on a project I was already 3 days behind on. My apartment was quiet, just the soft hum of the fridge and the occasional creak of the radiator. I opened my messaging app, ready to text a friend about a deadline extension, when I saw something odd. The drafts folder was lit up. That was strange. I didn't even know the app had a drafts folder. I clicked it. Inside was a message half written, sitting in a chat window with no contact name. Just a blank gray silhouette. The message read, "Don't take the red line tomorrow. There's going to be a delay." My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I didn't remember typing that. I never typed that. And I never sent it. But I thought maybe I had started writing it, forgotten about it, and moved on. I was tired. Distracted. My mind wasn't exactly sharp lately. So I closed the draft. And the next morning, I ignored it. I should have listened. The Red Line train derailed on its way to downtown. No fatalities, thank God, but multiple injuries. A power outage had stopped one of the signals. If I'd boarded my usual 742, I would have been in the second car, the one that crashed. I stared at my laptop that night. Opened the messaging app again. The draft was gone. But another one had taken its place. Say no to the coffee invite tomorrow. He's not who he says he is. That message, too, was in a chat window with no name. Just the same faceless icon. The next day, my coworker Rick, someone I barely knew beyond casual water cooler banter, invited me out for coffee after work. I stared at him for a moment. He smiled like it was no big deal. I said no. His smile didn't fade, but his eyes lingered just a second too long. That night, the drafts folder had 2 new entries. The first, "Good. You're learning." Stay off the roof Saturday. The second, don't answer the door after 11 p.m. You'll regret it. I didn't know what any of it meant. I wasn't planning to be on the roof. I never went out there. And why would someone come to my door at 11 but then Saturday came? And around 10:50 p.m. I heard footsteps outside my apartment. Slow. Deliberate. Then 3 knocks. Soft, but distinct. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Another 3 knocks. Louder. I sat frozen on the couch, clutching my phone. The footsteps eventually faded, swallowed by the hallway's silence. I didn't check the peephole. I didn't need to. I knew something had been standing there. The drafts continued. Every few nights. Always typed in the same style, short, precise, sometimes cryptic. But they were always right. Warnings. Predictions. It felt like something was watching my life unfold in real time. And adjusting the script. I tried to reply once. I opened a draft and typed, "Who are you?" I hit enter. Nothing happened. But within seconds, a new draft appeared. Someone who remembers what you've forgotten. After that, I started getting nervous. Paranoid. I kept thinking about what the messages meant. If someone could see me, track me, control what happened next. Who were they and how long had they been watching? Was I doing what they wanted or what I wanted? The lines were blurring. The tipping point came one Thursday night. I was finishing dinner, laptop open, half watching something on Netflix. I clicked into the messaging app out of habit. 27 drafts. All new. All from the same blank chat. My heart dropped. The first one said, "Don't panic." The second, "He's already in the building." The third, "You have 7 minutes." My hands trembled as I scrolled. "He looks like you. Don't trust your memory. Check the hallway mirror." I stood. The air in my apartment felt wrong. Heavier. I stepped toward the front door, glanced at the hallway mirror outside. At first, everything looked normal. But when I looked again, the reflection was delayed. Just by a second. Barely noticeable. But enough. I stumbled back inside. Slammed the door. Opened the laptop again. A new draft was typing itself. Letter by letter. No one at the keyboard. Just the blinking cursor, tapping out words like fingers on glass. "You have 5 minutes to get out. He's already inside." And then, click, click, click. The sound of keys. Behind me. I turned. No one. But the message was still writing. Now faster. "He's in the kitchen. He's wearing your face. He's learning to move like you. Don't look. Don't let him see your eyes." My screen flickered. The last message appeared, all caps, "Get out now." I ran. Didn't he take anything? Didn't he turn off the lights? I didn't even lock the door behind me. I just ran. It's been 3 days. I haven't gone back. I'm staying in a hotel, using public Wi-Fi, changing locations every night. But the messages, they keep coming. I opened the app just now on a new laptop. There's one draft waiting. Just one. Don't think moving will help. It's not the place. It's you. If I close the app, will it stop? If I destroy the laptop, burn it, erase everything, will it end? I don't think it will. Because earlier tonight, I looked in the mirror again. And I saw something new. My reflection was typing. It started with a blink. Just a blink. But not mine. I was brushing my teeth, staring into the mirror like I do every morning. Still half asleep, foam in my mouth, toothbrush hanging from one side. I blinked, turned my head slightly toward the towel rack. And in the mirror, I blinked a half second late. At first I thought I imagined it. Sleep haze, maybe. A trick of the light. I leaned closer, staring into my own eyes. Everything seemed fine. Still, I felt off. A weird chill at the base of my spine. I shook it off. But I kept checking the mirror more carefully after that. 2 days later, it happened again. This time I raised my hand to scratch my jaw, absent-minded, automatic. But the mirror me was slow. Like, visibly slower. Not a glitch, not a weird camera lag like FaceTime. Just, wrong. Like someone was watching me through a delayed feed. I stood still for almost a minute, testing it. Raised my left hand. Waited. Watched. This time, the reflection matched. I laughed to myself. Nervous, embarrassed. Maybe I was just stressed. Too much caffeine. Not enough sleep. But something about the way the reflection had lagged and caught up unnerved me. Almost like it was pretending to be real. I started filming myself. My phone's selfie camera, bathroom lights on full. I tried to recreate the delay, but every time I recorded, the mirror acted normal. But in person, the lag was there. Subtle. Creeping. Sometimes a blink. Sometimes a twitch of the lips delayed by less than a second. And other times the eyes didn't blink at all. It got worse over the next week. I started to dread brushing my teeth, washing my face, shaving anything that made me stand still in front of the mirror. Because that's when I'd notice it. The growing delay. It wasn't just visual anymore. It was emotional. I'd look into the mirror, and my reflection would smile. Before I even felt like smiling. Or frown before I realized I was upset. One night, I leaned in real close face to face with myself. Inches away from the glass. And I saw it. The pupils in the reflection were off. Not dilating right. Not quite centered. The eyes weren't mine anymore. They were copying. But not perfectly. I covered the bathroom mirror with a towel. I stopped using it completely. Started shaving in the kitchen with a little handheld compact. But even then, I felt it. Like something behind the glass was waiting. Not watching, waiting. I told my friends Sam. They laughed. You need sleep. Or weed. Or therapy. I didn't argue. But I couldn't sleep. Because that night, the towel covering the mirror was on the floor. Folded. Neatly. And the mirror was spotless. I hadn't cleaned it. And I sure as hell hadn't touched the towel. That's when I decided to test it again. To see if I was losing my mind. I stood in front of the mirror. No lights on. Just the hallway bulb behind me. I raised my right hand. Nothing. The reflection stood there, arms at its sides. I didn't breathe. Neither did it. I slowly lowered my hand and then the reflection raised its own. Wrong hand. Wrong timing. I whispered, "What are you?" The reflection mouthed the words back, a full 5 seconds later. But the voice that answered it came from behind the glass. Closer. I ran. Locked the bathroom door from the outside. Taped it shut. Didn't go near it for days. But every morning, I'd hear it. A faint sound. Like fingers tapping on glass. Tap. Pause. Tap tap. Long pause. Then a low scrape. Like fingernails across a mirror. Then, 2 nights ago, it changed. I was walking past the bathroom, didn't even look inside. And I saw it. The light was off. But the mirror was glowing faintly. Like there was a screen behind it. And in the reflection, I was already in the bathroom. Standing. Still. Staring out at me. But I hadn't walked in yet. I backed away slowly. Went to the front door. Checked the locks. Called Sam. No answer. Checked my phone again. There was a new photo in my camera roll. One I hadn't taken. It was of me, sleeping. Taken from inside the bathroom. Last night, I woke up to the sound of water running. The bathroom sink. Drib. 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 And in the hallway, the mirror light was glowing again. I crept closer. Inside the mirror, the bathroom was empty. But the door to the hallway my side was open in the reflection. And a shadow was standing there. Watching me. I haven't slept. I haven't left. Every mirror in this apartment is gone. Shattered, covered, dumped. Except the one in the bathroom. Because it won't let me. I tried to smash it once. The hammer stopped inches from the surface like my body wouldn't obey. My reflection just smiled. Smiled first. Right now, as I'm writing this, the bathroom door is creaking open. I'm still at my desk. But I saw something move in the corner of my eye. In the hallway. It looked like me. Only a little faster. A little too smooth. And now I hear my voice from the bathroom. Calling out, "Hey! Come look. It's ready now. Do not trust your reflection. When it starts moving slower, it's just buying time. Until it learns how to lead. And you're just the copy now." I moved into the apartment in early October. It was the top floor of a pre-war brownstone tucked into a quiet block just west of downtown, exactly the kind of place I'd been looking for. Cheap rent, exposed brick, creaky hardwood floors, and most importantly, no roommates. The listing had popped up on a rental site for less than a day before I snatched it. The landlord didn't ask many questions. Just said, "Don't worry about the history. It's yours now." The first few days were uneventful. The place was a little dusty, but it had charm. It smelled like old wood and leftover incense. I spent my evenings unpacking boxes, playing music, eating takeout cross-legged on the floor. It felt like a clean break. A fresh start. Until the package arrived. It was waiting at my door when I got home from work. A medium-sized box. No return address. Just my apartment number scribbled on the label. But the name written above it wasn't mine. It said, Julia Myers. No unit listed. Just the building address. I assumed it was a mix-up, maybe a neighbor who used to live here. But when I asked the landlord the next day, he frowned. "There's never been a Julia Myers in that unit," he said flatly. "At least not in the time I've owned the place. 8 years. I dropped the box on my kitchen table and stared at it. Curiosity got the better of me. Inside were a few folded clothes, a worn hoodie, socks, a blouse. On top was a bundle of handwritten letters tied with a rubber band. The top envelope caught my eye. It had my name on it. But the date in the corner, October 12, 2020. Exactly 3 years ago. I hadn't lived here in 2020. I was still across the country then, finishing grad school in Oregon. My first instinct was that someone had reused old letters. Maybe the clothes were second-hand, maybe it was a recycled box. But then I opened one of the letters. It was in my handwriting. My looping lowercase g, the slanted e, the way I never cross my T's unless I'm focused. I think I'm starting to remember the hallway noises. I know they weren't dreams. I just wish you were still here to ask. My heart dropped. I read another. If you're reading this, it means I stayed too long. I flipped through the rest. All written like they were addressed to me, but clearly from me, recounting memories of this apartment, descriptions of the chipped tile in the bathroom, the humming pipes, the smell of something burnt near the radiator. Things I hadn't noticed until this week. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I dug through every online database I could think of. Zillow, Trulia, RentNet, archived Craigslist listings. I typed in my address. My unit. Nothing. Every result skipped my apartment. Like it had never been available. Like it didn't exist. The building had 5 listed units. But mine didn't show up. The next morning, I checked the mailbox. Inside was a yellowed envelope with no stamp, postmarked 2020. It had been slipped in, not mailed. Inside, a photograph of my kitchen, same countertop, same cracked mug I used for coffee. Except in the picture, there was a woman standing near the sink. Back turned, hair in a messy bun, wearing the hoodie from the box. A scribble on the back said, October 17th. She never left. I brought the photo to the landlord. He looked at it, frowning. "Where do you get this?" "My mailbox," I said. "There's more." A box showed up with her name, Julia Myers. "You're sure she never?" "She didn't," he snapped. "This is a quiet building. People mind their business. If she lived here, I'd know." But his eyes lingered too long on the photo. Almost like he recognized her. That night, I couldn't help myself. I looked closer at the letters. Some described things I hadn't noticed yet, like a stain behind the refrigerator, or a loose board under the bed. When I checked, they were all there. Each detail. Exactly as the letters described. I opened one last letter. The handwriting was messy now. Rushed. Like the person writing it me was afraid of being interrupted. The apartment remembers us. It doesn't matter how many new tenants move in. It keeps the ones it likes. They're not ghosts. They're just the past versions of ourselves. Waiting. The bottom line was smudged. But I could still make it out. Don't check the closet. So, of course, I did. The coat closet by the front door had always smelled musty. But that night, I noticed the back panel was loose. I tugged at it. Behind it, wedged in the wall cavity, was a stack of Polaroids. All of me. Sleeping. Cooking. Looking out the window. Pictures taken from inside the apartment. Each one dated from months ago, long before I moved in. And in the corner of one photo, barely visible in the bathroom mirror, was a woman, smiling. I moved out the next morning. Didn't he even pack? Left the clothes, the boxes, everything. The landlord didn't he say a word when I told him. He just nodded slowly and said, "It happens." Like he'd been waiting for it. I moved in with a friend across town. Tried to forget. But today, a package showed up on her doorstep. No return address. Inside that same hoodie, a few Polaroids. And a letter. Not signed, but in handwriting that looked just like hers. Or maybe mine. You can't walk away from a life you already lived. You're just finishing what she started. The rental site now lists the apartment as available immediately. But the photos of the unit show a couch I never bought, a mug I never owned, and someone sitting on the bed, wearing my face.